In terms of funds that are the highest yielding at the moment, then we have the YieldBoost Coinbase, which is COYY. That ETF is around about 150% in terms of annualized distribution yield. And then we have some newer additions, such as the YieldBoost Hood ETF or YieldBoost Robinhood, the HOYY, which is also up there, and then TSYY, which is the YieldBoost Tesla ETF, TSYY.
I'm your host, Melanie Schaefer. Welcome to Lead Lag Live. GraniteShares continues to shake up the ETF space with a growing lineup of income-focused products, particularly its YieldBoost range. These funds are a hit with investors who want higher monthly income without the complexity of options trading. My guest today is Will Rhind, founder and CEO of GraniteShares. Will's been leading the charge in bringing innovative, high-yield ETFs to market, and importantly, making institutional strategies more accessible to everyday investors. Will, it's great to have you back.
Thank you, Melanie. Good to be back.
So, well, let's start with the latest. You've been expanding the YieldBoost lineup pretty quickly. What new funds have you launched recently, and what demand are you seeing for these products?
So we've launched two new YieldBoost ETFs, a YieldBoost BABA or YieldBoost Alibaba, and YieldBoost Meta ETF. Those are the two newest additions to the YieldBoost lineup.
So in terms of the overall range, how is it performing both in terms of income and the total return, especially, with markets still finding their footing after the big September pullback?
Yeah, so markets have been good. Obviously, the last few weeks, the range in terms of the YieldBoost range is performing well in terms of investor demand, interest, trading volumes that we see across the platform. So that's why really that we're launching new funds, and we've grown that offering now to 14. So definitely have some standouts in there in terms of ETFs, but really the overall picture is that investors want high weekly yields and are getting those from options-based funds like YieldBoost.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get into next. Investors always want to know one thing. Which fund is currently offering the highest yield? And can you walk us through what's leading the pack right now?
Yeah, so in terms of funds that are the highest yielding at the moment, then we have the YieldBoost Coinbase, which is COYY. That ETF is around about 150% in terms of annualized distribution yield. And then we have some newer additions, such as the YieldBoost Hood ETF or YieldBoost Robinhood, the HOYY, which is also up there, and then TSYY, which is the YieldBoost Tesla ETF, TSYY.
So in terms of popularity, which of the YieldBoost ETFs is the strongest inflows, and why do you think those have resonated most with investors?
The most popular in terms of assets under management is TSYY. So that's the YieldBoost Tesla ETF. It's also the one that's been around the longest. So we launched TSYY in December of last year. So we're coming up now on the 1-year anniversary of TSYY. And so that one's been very, very popular. We are over 400 million in terms of assets under management in that fund. And I think, a lot of the appeal is high yield, obviously, but I think you get a lot of interest from investors in Tesla and the Tesla ecosystem just generally. And that fund has delivered a high yield, weekly payouts, and it's ultimately linked to the Tesla story, which is interesting to everybody.
Tesla is interesting. What investors are interested in is knowing what day of the week you typically announce distributions, and when do these payments actually hit in investor accounts?
Yeah, believe it or not, this is actually a really important point and something that we get a huge amount of questions on from investors. So we announce distributions every Thursday. So every week on a Thursday, we announce the distributions, and then the actual payment date is Tuesday or the following Tuesday. And that's for all YieldBoost funds currently.
And people can go to your X account. You announced that as well across socials. But I want to ask just lastly, for people who like to track the payouts or stay ahead of new fund, where else can they go? Where's the best way to keep up to date with GraniteShares offerings and news?
Well, the website, ultimately, graniteshares.com, will have all the information. However, I think we're big believers in people consuming information in the best way that or they feel comfortable with. And so a lot of our investors follow us on X. So that's at GraniteShares on X or at YieldBoost ETFs on X. And there we'll post the distribution amounts, and other obviously important information about new fund launches, which again, we get a lot of interest in.
Well, it's always great catching up with you. Thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Melanie. Great to see you. And thanks for having me on again.
And thanks to everyone for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes of Lead Lag Live.